Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the marketplace with Uchonoche this evening. I hope work has been good for all of us. I hope we've been able to be productive for today. Welcome to our leadership series. I'm getting a lot of feedback from people. They are enjoying this leadership series. Some people are like, I need to do leadership for like 6 months. That that is important. That right now in our country that we need to raise leaders. So I get a lot of feedback um, concerning the leadership series. I'm also enjoying it. I haven't done leadership this extent since we started doing this we started doing this during the pandemic. So I'm glad to be back here today, still on this leadership series. Yes, I will be doing this leadership series for maybe another 3 months. People are saying I should continue for the next 6 months, but they're enjoying it. But well, let's see how it goes. Like I always say, here we have fivefold ministry, or five focus and direction we have at Marketplace Apostles, and that is business. I've done business from last year. I've treated business for like 3 months. Now we're in leadership series. From there, we'll go to career development. After career development, we'll talk a bit about personal finance. Then we'll now talk about relationships. Relationships could be for marriage, could be corporate relationships, how to handle corporate relationships and personal relationships. Because let me tell you, personal relationship is any form of relationship at all is what brings about your progress. People don't understand that in business, relationship is everything. In the corporate world, relationship is everything. So we must build relationships. So that's why that is the fifth focus. And that is why I say it's our fivefold ministry, but it's not like run like church, but it's the five focus that we have here in this foundation. So someone asked me, that's why I'm taking time. I always take time to say one or two things because we get new people that join us from time to time. So because they join us, I need to let them know what we do here. So welcome today to the marketplace with Uchonoche. Today I'm dealing on a leadership series, and today I'm talking about mastering positive assertiveness. How do I assert myself as a leader? It's very important because every single thing you do as a leader is being questioned. Look at the presidents of almost all the countries. The presidents of almost all the countries are the favorite pastime for everybody to be jabbing. Leaders, you see them every day. You see pastors are now the favorite target for everybody because you see them every day. I tell people that look, if you don't want to be jabbed at, you don't want to be dissected, you don't want people to use microscope to look at you, then you realize that you're not called to be a leader. If you don't not develop thick skin to be able to stand the scrutiny of people, then you know that maybe leadership is not for you. So you should be able to assert yourself. I tell leaders that you must be comfortable in your own skin. You must be comfortable in your own skin. You must be comfortable with your own decisions. Not everybody will like your decision. Not everybody will love you, but that in itself should not stop you. And you must know how to assert yourself in the workplace. Because if you don't know how to assert yourself, it will it will have an adverse effect on your effectiveness and overall performance as a leader. So that's why it's important we deal with these critical issues in leadership. So welcome once more. Let us go in and see what is assertiveness. Let's start from the word assertiveness and we move from there. Assertiveness is all about communication. It's all about healthy communication. That is what assertiveness means. It's the ability to speak up for yourself in a way that is honest and a way that is respectful. Because every day as leaders, we are in situations where we need to assert ourselves, and it helps us on our job to become more effective. So I remember when I was made a head of some in an organization. No, this was in church. I was made the head of a department. At that time, a protocol department. There were people that were already there, senior members that were already there when I came from the headquarter church to where I am today. And those people felt that they needed to be consulted. They needed to be consulted. They needed me to come to them and to let them show me how things are done, kind of. So I was laughing because maybe they look at your disposition, you are quiet, you are not the type that is loud. People always mistake someone that is quiet. People always mistake someone that is an introvert to mean that the person is a dunce or the person cannot assert himself. So I was laughing because I already had an idea of how to assert myself in such a way that I can get the desired result. So every leader, any situation where you find yourself, you realize that you must assert yourself to be able for people to understand you, to understand your leadership style and understand what is your purpose. Because if it's not clear in your actions, in your words, it becomes difficult for you to be able to assert yourself. So assertiveness, in one word, is all about communication. So now, being assertive does not come natural to everybody. It does not. It's not a natural thing. So many people, if you ask me, close to 85%, this is my own statistics, is not any statistics anywhere, is these are people need to learn how to be assertive. You can be vocal, but you are not assertive. You can be vocal and be aggressive, seen as being aggressive. You are not being assertive. These are some of the things we will learn here today. Because some people might communicate and they are too passive. Passive people are people that I don't know. They cannot clearly come and tell you, so are you coming to the party or not? I'm not too sure. Let's see what weekend will be like. They know that they are not coming, but they don't want to hurt you, and they're not telling you they will not be able to be there. There are people that are passive in their communication, are people that are not well understood. You are not able to pass on the information, pass on your mind, what's on your mind, to pass it on to people effectively. So don't ever give someone, when you're communicating, don't give somebody hope when there is no hope. Don't try to tell somebody, I might be there for you, when you know that you will not be there for the person. Well, another why it's not common is that some people are too aggressive. And when you are too aggressive, you can come as being too forward. You can come as being an irritant, kind of. And people will dislike you more if they see you as being aggressive. But now, assertive style is in between being too passive and also being too aggressive. It comes, assertiveness is to balance between being too passive and being too aggressive. So it's a skill that must be learned. It's a skill that we need to learn. And that is the reason why we are doing this here today. So it's a skill that we need to learn. So go on with me today, and we are going to learn these skills. Now, let us understand what assertive skills is. It's crucial to understand when, how, and how to apply the assertive skills. We will see how to develop our assertive skills, but for us to understand this assertiveness skill, we must know when to deploy it, how to apply it, and how to apply it so that it will make sense to us, make sense for what we are trying to achieve. Remember that misuse of this assertiveness may be perceived as an act of aggression or an act of being too docile. We don't want to be seen as being too docile, and we don't want to be seen as being too aggressive. So, we must know when to apply these skills, effectively. Assertiveness is all about communication. Okay, so now we've established that assertiveness is about communication. So let's now see what assertive communication means, as we proceed in this presentation. Assertive communication is the ability to express both positive and negative ideas and feelings in a way that is open, honest, and direct. So an assertive communicator is someone that is not afraid to deal with sensitive issues, that is not afraid to address critical issues, even to address that elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. Being assertive, once you understand how to be assertive, it becomes easier for you to tackle practically every single thing in a civilized manner that people will not look at you as being docile or being an aggressor. Assertive communication helps you to recognize your own rights, and also respecting the rights of others. I believe that all of us have the right of speech to say whatever we want to say. But assertiveness is also talking about not just your right to speak, but also respecting other people's rights. That's where there comes. That's where you need to understand these skills to help you to communicate and for people to listen to you effectively. Because if you don't understand how to communicate, people will not be able to listen to you. Please don't let somebody shout you down or let somebody not give you opportunity to talk because you don't know how to communicate. Assertive communication allows you to take responsibility for yourself and your actions without judging anybody. You have the right. Once you know how to pass on the information you want to pass on, then you don't have to blame anybody. Because people will always tell you that they don't give people chance to talk. In the meetings, they don't give people chance to talk. My boss doesn't give me chance to talk, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they are not being the few times they've been given the opportunity to talk, maybe they have not been able to assert themselves in the proper way that makes the people say, look, I don't want to waste my time listening to this guy. Okay, assertive communication allows you to constructively confront and find mutually satisfying solution where conflict exists. When you understand the terminology of assertive communication or assertiveness in the workplace, you can confront every single problem or conflict that you can find in the workplace and be able to go through it without having enemies. We will always have enemies. There's no way we will not have enemies. But the thing is, it will save you a lot of enemies when you are able to communicate effectively, or to when you understand assertive communication. It helps you go a long way. Okay, so now let us see the difference between assertive and aggressive communication. What is the difference? Because assertiveness is the in between. I said being aggressive and being docile. So now let's see what's the difference between being an assertive communicator, an aggressive communicator that puts people off. Assertive communication is conveying your message in a direct, acceptable, and respectful way. Assertive communication is conveying your message, whatever it is, directly, so people understand you in a way that is as acceptable. You know, you can disagree with me without looking at me as an enemy, without you looking at me as an idiot, without looking at me as, you know, some people will be talking and say that people in the meetings will be shaking their head and say, what is this guy saying? You will listen to me because I know how to put my words. I'm an assertive communicator, and I don't disrespect you, so there's no way I can irritate you. But see the opposite. The opposite of assertive communication is aggressive communication. On the other hand, it means speaking in a disrespectful, arrogant, and bossy way. Even if you're a motivational speaker, the thing about speaking with public speaking is like you are like a driver of a commercial vehicle. You are feeling the pulse of everybody in the room, even if there are 10,000 people. As a public speaker, you are like the driver, the commercial driver. You are feeling the pulse. You are looking at their eyes. You are looking at everything within the hall, and you are talking. And so when you are aggressive, you put people off. Don't allow yourself to be people to put you off when you have not been given the chance to even talk. So we should be careful not to be seen as aggressive communicators. Okay, so let's now find out, why do we use assertive communication? All of us use assertive behavior at times. You know, there's what is called assertive behaviors. All of us can exhibit that kind of behavior, and those behaviors are encouraged when we feel vulnerable, when we are unsure of ourselves and we feel vulnerable. We resort to either being submissive. You know, you can go to a place and you are maybe intimidated by the people you're with. You just become submissive, or you can become manipulative, using guilt, using crying, using whatever it is to get your message across, or you become aggressive. It depends on whatever circumstances you find yourself. So if you don't understand the concept of assertive communication, when you find yourself in a vulnerable position, you might begin to react negatively. You might begin to speak negatively, or you might begin to speak aggressively when you feel vulnerable, when you feel that people are not giving you the opportunity to speak. You might become angry, or you become submissive, or you become manipulative in trying to pass on your message to people. So we should realize that these are circumstances we find ourselves on a day-to-day basis. But no matter what it is, calmness is required. We are required to be calm and to realize that, look, I have a purpose here. When I'm angry at meetings, when I'm angry and where I'm dealing with people or public, what I do is I keep the purpose in the front burner. I keep telling myself, Uche, you are here for a reason. You must be heard. I don't want anger or somebody's behavior to stop me from being able to do what I came here to do. I left my house. I left things I needed to do to come here to be able to pass on this message. So you must give me the opportunity. I want to be heard. So no matter what, I always have this at the back of my mind. I must be heard. So the way I present myself is very important. And that's why we must learn how to use assertive communications. What are the advantages of assertiveness skills in communication? Let's see some of a few advantages. There are many advantages of assertiveness skills in communications, most notably this ones. Assertiveness helps you feel good about yourself and others. When you're able to communicate, when you're able to say, there's something about being able to be heard. A wife wants to be heard. A husband wants to be understood. And you see some couples and she doesn't understand me. And the woman is saying, I am not being heard in this house. And maybe because I'm not the breadwinner, I'm not being heard. But you see, assertive communication, assertiveness in skills in communication helps you to be able to communicate, even if the person is disagreeing with you, but you know the person has heard you. So you are happy. When sometimes when you're going through distress or you are in a crisis and you go to someone and the person just listens to you. The person doesn't have solution to your problem, but the person just listens to you. You leave there being, some of the weight is lifted because you feel that somebody just listened to you. That is what happens when you communicate well. Assertiveness also helps you to develop mutual respect with others. It leads to developing mutual respect with others because now you can communicate freely without your emotions coming into play. You understand the skills. You understand the way to communicate to people now, and in a way that they will listen to you. You earn more respect. There's mutual respect. You respect people, because if you don't respect people, you can't get across to them. And people respect you because they see that you know how to communicate. They say that guy knows how to talk. That guy is respectful. When somebody says you are respectful, it means that you know how to talk. When they say don't mind that person is disrespectful, most of the time they say the person has very bad manners or the person doesn't know how to conduct himself. It's because you don't know how to talk and how to communicate. Okay, so assertiveness increases your self-esteem. When you're able to communicate effectively, there's a level of confidence that you have, because now people are listening to you. I remember when I became cautious of talking. Before I knew that I had content. You as a public speaker, as a speaker or not really a public speaker, I knew that I had content. But I'm always frustrated when I'm not able to pass on that content, or when somebody is speaking over me and maybe I'm not speaking as fast as possible. And it worries me that I'm able to be somewhere for 1 hour and I'm not able to share the things that are inside of me until I understood this concept. So it increases your self-esteem when you can communicate better. Assertiveness helps you to achieve your goals. Like now, I am goal driven. I am goal driven. I want to achieve. That's what I think of day and night. So I am not going to allow someone. I'm not going to allow not having one particular skill to stop me from speaking. So I can become respectful in order to say what I want to say. My goal is very important, and I want you to listen to me. If I'm making a pitch to you, I don't want to come off as somebody that is arrogant. I want to come out as somebody that knows what he's saying, and that's what it means by understanding assertiveness in communication. So it helps you achieve your goals. Assertiveness minimizing hurting and alienating other people. Because I want to talk doesn't mean that I need to hurt someone. I have to be tactful in my speech. Even if I'm disagreeing with you, I have to disagree with you in a civil manner. Not disagree with you in a way that I hurt your feelings. And when you hurt people's feelings, they alienate, is more like alienating people, or people will alienate you from their crowd, and that is bad for business. We're all business people. We are all want to achieve something, either a business person or either as a career worker, you want to achieve something. So don't get yourself alienated because you are not able to put your thoughts across without looking arrogant. Okay, assertiveness reduces anxiety, you know, because now you know how to put your words across. You are not anxious for anything. Assertiveness protects us from being taken advantage of by others. You know, some people like to bully in the boardroom. They like to bully others in meetings by maybe they can talk, they have gift of the gab. They tend to bully people and talk over your head because they speak faster. They know how to, they need how to speak to the crowd, and the crowd will cheer. And they tend to eat up anybody in the room that tries to say something contrary to them. So, but when you understand assertiveness in communication, you are able to protect yourself from those bullies. Okay, it also helps you to enable us to make decisions and free choices in life. When you're able to speak, you know, one of the things about speaking for someone like me that was an introvert, I love this type of courses because they helped me to be able to say my mind. You know, it's just like a stammerer or someone that is not given opportunity to stop. They say stammerers get angry very fast. Why? Because they are deprived of the opportunity to talk. The same way, you might not be a stammerer, but you might be introverted, and you want people to be quiet for you to talk. You know, and at such times you're not able to make the right decisions because you're not able to say things well. I'll make the right choices in life. That ought not to be so. So it's very important. This skill is very important for you to for us to have. Assertiveness helps us to express a wide range of feelings and thoughts. Once you understand it opens the door to your inner self to express themselves well. You know, you realize that once you become assertive, you become a dreamer. When you talk, you begin to talk like a poet. You begin to talk, you know, you become free. When somebody asks you a question, you can become poetic about it, or you can go the way of philosophy. You can become philosophical. You can become, because now you're free to express yourself. It's a wonderful thing to be able to express yourself. People die slowly when they're not able to express themselves well. Okay, let me move on. What are the drawbacks? What are the disadvantages? Because everything has its own drawbacks and downside to assertive communication. Let's just look at that before we proceed. Of course, there are disadvantages in everything in life. Others may not approve this style of communication, or they may not approve your views when you express them. So not because you can speak well means that people will agree with you. But hey, it's a free world, it's a free country. Anybody should be allowed to speak, to say their mind. So even if you learn the skill, because I know someone that he can speak, he has the gift of the gap, but anytime you disagree, you see him inside, he becomes upset because he just has this feeling that he has content. Yes, he has content. Yes, he knows what he's saying, but not everybody will agree with what you were saying. Not everybody will agree with what you're saying. So you should also be able to realize that, hey, life goes on. Is either you understand, agree with what I'm saying or not. Life goes on. There shouldn't be any emotional attachment to everybody listening to you. I know it's one of the one of the traits that speakers have, motivational speakers, but it's something that you need to drop after a while with experience. You should drop it and move on and realize that not everybody will take what you're saying. Also, having what some of the disadvantages is having a healthy regard for other people's rights. You know, assertiveness in communication is like, look, people's rights. You can speak, but be tactful. You can speak, but be tactful. Don't hurt people because you want to say something and you are saying something. But you see, if there is no balance, if you don't check it, it means that your own rights will be eroded because you want to be good to somebody else. So sometimes you have, it's like a thin line, but you need to realize that I respect you as a person. I also expect you to respect me, and I don't want to lose my own rights because I want to appear to be respectful to somebody. So there has to be a place where you draw the line and be respectful, but make sure you also express yourself well. You may also find out that you were wrong in your assumptions, in your theories, you were wrong. So there's a possibility that, yeah, you might be able to pass on all the information, but you might be wrong. And most importantly, as mentioned earlier, it involves risk that others may not understand you and the style of communication. But the one thing is certain, I must tell you, disadvantage or not, you are free inside. When I learned how to communicate, when I learned the patience of communication, I became like a free bird. I love to talk. I don't normally talk, but I love to talk. At least when I'm making presentations and when I'm with very close friends, I love to talk because now I have what to say, and one word leads to the other and leads to the other. I'm happy that I am talking. It's like it's life when you are not able to talk properly for people to understand, to not talk, communicate properly. And you see, communication ends not when you say something. Communication ends when the other person understands exactly what you're saying. That is full communication. Some people just communicate expecting that this person is an intelligent person. You're a graduate, so you should understand what I'm saying. You have not communicated. You have not communicated until the person understands you. And so the habits and the mannerisms and the body language that you are using to communicate must be in line, must be in sync with what you are trying to communicate. If not, you have not communicated. Because if the other party does not get what you are saying, you have not communicated. Okay, let's look at the importance of the I statement in assertive communication. What do I mean by I statement? I this, I that. On the contrary, here, in leadership, we always tell leaders to use the word we, because it's about team. It's about teamwork. So you can imagine a leader coming on CNN, on world news, and begin to say, I did this, I did that, I did this. People will look at you as being arrogant. But in assertiveness, in communication, it's I statement is allowed. I believe that this is the only place that I statement is allowed in leadership. And this is the reason why. And part of being assertive involves the ability to appropriately express your needs and your feelings, because it's about you now. It's about you as a person. So you can accomplish this by using I statement. This is the time that you need to use I statement, because when you use I statement, it indicates ownership. You're not blaming somebody, it indicates ownership. It does not contribute to blame. It focuses on behavior. It identifies the effect of behavior and is direct. It is direct. It's coming from you. It is honest. There's no ambiguity. It's not the board that told you or somebody. You as a person, you are the one that is saying it. Is direct, and you're being honest with your feelings, and it contributes to your relationship with other people, because people will see your sincerity. I'm not comfortable with this does not mean that I want to be your enemy. It's just that I am giving you reasons why I am not comfortable with this. Let's look at some examples. Look at this example. I am feeling frustrated. I feel, not I am. I feel frustrated when you are late for meetings. I don't like having to repeat information. More or less saying, I don't like to repeat myself. So a boss now talking to a subordinate. Uche, your boss, feels frustrated when you are late for meetings. I don't like to repeat myself. So it is clear about your actions that are making me very uncomfortable. And because I'm your boss, you need to pay attention to whatever is making me very uncomfortable. In this way, you are owning it up. Not we in the leadership, we are frustrated. No, it is I thing. Then you can say, another example, I completely understand what you are saying, but I have to disagree, sir. You can tell your friend, your boss, sir, I understand completely, but permit me, in this case, to disagree with you. The way you have put it, you put it in such a way that nobody will say that you are just disagreeing with me because you don't like my face. Could you explain? Another example is, could you explain the reasoning behind your decision so I can try to understand what you are saying? Instead of saying, I'm not clear, what you are saying, please, when you want to talk, make sense. You know, some people are arrogant like that. Please make sense. I want to hear somebody that is making sense. You can have a nasty boss. Some of us have had to deal with nasty bosses in the past. Please make sense. You can as well. You know that next time in a meeting, you find it difficult for you to talk. But look at this. Could you explain the reason behind your decision so that I can understand? What I'm telling you in a polite way is, I don't understand what you are saying. Look at another example. I understand that you have a need to talk, and right now I have a need to finish what I'm doing. So what about let us meet in an hour's time? So it means that I respect you as a person. I respect you that you want to talk to me, but I'm busy. You also don't cross the line. I am busy, not because you want to talk, I drop everything. But this is the compromise. You know, this is the compromise I'm going to make. Can we meet in half an hour? Because at that time, I would have finished what I'm doing. This is assertiveness in communication. And somebody walks away not feeling anything. I want you to help me with this report, not beating around the bush. Guy, please help me with this report. It's clear, and so that people understand. Another example, can you suggest a time we can talk about the missed deadlines? I am concerned. So you're talking about, you are expressing emotions of concern, that you're worried about deadline. Can you suggest? So these are ways that, in as much you might be angered by your team not meeting up their deadline, but it doesn't mean that you should shout. You can say, please suggest time. I know that you guys are busy. When we can talk about this, I'm concerned that we're not meeting the deadlines, and the clients might begin to get upset. All right, now we come to the concluding part of my presentation, where I give you the techniques for effectiveness. I have six techniques that I will give to you. Hopefully, I should be able to round it up within an hour. 6 techniques that can give you an idea. I've built it because I like to build my presentations and give you practical steps, and for you to understand the reasons. So not just coming to give you the techniques, but also to understand what all these things means with examples. So let me just give you some of these tips as we move on. So the first technique for assertiveness in communication is behavior rehearsal. Behavior rehearsal. What do I mean by behavior rehearsal? You have to literally teach yourself, practice how you want to look and sound. When I became a public speaker, I used the mirror image. I still use it. Anytime you see me using a mirror image, it means I'm going for a very important meeting. So as I'm talking, my gesticulation, the way I'm talking, all that, I want to see it. So if I put my notes and I'm talking, because I know by nature when I talk I gesticulate a lot, but you have to be able to learn how to control it in a way that is not contrary to what you're saying, and your gesticulation is not offensive to anybody. So you have to practice it. It's something that you need to practice. It's very useful technique when you want to first start using the I statement. It's something that you have to rehearse. And I will give you an example of some of them. That you have to. If somebody says this, what should I tell them? At times I used to write it down. When I know the kind of person you are, and I will write out what I think. I write out what I think your question will be and how I will respond without having to sound aggressive, because I don't want to join you in our aggression. So it's good for you to rehearse your behavior. It helps to dissipate any emotional association with any experience in the past, especially when somebody has been nasty to you. Some people might be nasty to you or say a harsh word in a meeting. You are waiting for them in the next meeting so that you will give it back to them. Or you've had an experience in the past that makes you shy away from saying some certain things. But when you rehearse what to say before time, after a while, it becomes easier. What you're doing is that you're teaching yourself steps that you can use when those things come. Now, after a while, you master the act of knowing how to respond to people, even if they're asking you difficult questions, or even if they're trying to be difficult. You have to rehearse these things, because practice, in summary, practice makes perfect. That's just what I'll say. Practice makes perfect. Okay, the number 2 technique is repeated assertion. You have to repeat it until you begin to sound like a broken record. This assertion techniques allows you to feel comfortable by ignoring manipulative verbal side traps, argumentative baiting, illogical, irrelevant logic, while sticking to your point. Repeated assertion. You have to be calm and use calm repetition and say what you want and stay focused on the issue. Let me give you an example. Some of the things you need to rehearse. Someone can say, I would like to show you some of our products. No, thank you. I'm not interested at this time. You should be able to, you should be able to learn how to speak to people. Not, I have seen someone been in a shop, and for the next 30 minutes, they are bringing all manner of products just because he didn't know how to say, I'm not interested for now. I don't have a budget for now for it, so I'm not considering. Let me not waste your time. I don't have a budget for it. There are polite ways in which you can turn down anybody that is trying to sell something to you, instead of having to go through 1 hour of somebody bringing out all. It's just like you go to a shop where they sell clothes, and you want the person to bring down everything and be showing you when you know you are not interested. You can just politely tell them, I'm sorry, I don't have a budget for it now, and so I might not be interested. Let me not waste your time. Another example is, I really have a great range to offer you. And you can say something like, it might be true, but I'm not interested at this time. Okay, I don't want any of your products. Okay, will you like a brochure? People can insist. Then you can say, of course, it's a brochure. Yeah, I will look over it. And anticipate what people say. Most of us we've met aggressive salespeople, and you need to realize aggressive salespeople are there to make a living. So don't be upset with them, because all of us are trying to make a living. That is their hustle. So, but you don't allow their hustle now to become burdensome on you. So you must be able to quietly tell them, oh, I'm not interested, I'm not this. Just like you go to the malls in Dubai and they have Nigerians everywhere selling all at the entrance, and companies have employed them, and those guys are aggressive. And once they just look at you as you're a Nigerian, they will come after you and they will use all manner of sentiments to, so you should be able to politely say, sorry, not today. We has those things. Because me, going to the mall, there's a particular mall that we go to and we visit, and most of the time in visiting that mall, you have to be ready with what they say. Even from the airport, there are people that are trying to put you on a cruise or set you up to buy something. So you must be able to be assertive in your communication and quietly rehearse what you need to tell them in a calm way. Okay. Another technique for assertiveness in communication is what is called foregain. Foregain, Fogging. This techniques allows you to receive criticism comfortably without getting anxious or defensive and without rewarding. It also, you do not reward manipulative criticism. So as you must be able to position yourself in a way, train yourself to receive criticism. Do you know that growth, some of us get to grow when somebody criticizes what you're doing. Positive criticism is not bad. I do a lot of programs, and sometimes we ask, I do, and anytime we have a business in our business school, every time we go through a class, we give them questions, we ask them for feedback. So I do a lot of programs that sometimes people don't allow you to ask them for feedback. They walk up to me and say, maybe you need to add this, you need to do this, you need to do that. And some, I take it. I don't feel bad and say, what are you? I'm the owner of this event. You should be grateful you are coming for a free event. So why are you now talking? Why don't you be grateful and take whatever you want? No, but it's like they can criticize, well, the time you are taking is too long. And you tell us 1 hour and now you've taken 2 hours. We have other things to do. And that in itself should help you to next time to decide, am I using 2 hours or 1 hour? So when you come, so positive criticism is good. Make sure that as long as you have weighed it and say this one is manipulative criticism or negative criticism, please throw it out of the window. You need to acknowledge that criticism and agree that there might be truth in it. So what I'm saying is that you must weigh everything somebody says. You must think about it, at least give it a thought. Is there truth in what they're saying? Because there might be truth in the criticism. Why don't you take the positive part and leave the negative part? But ultimately, the decision has to be yours. Let me give you an example. I agree that you're probably right when I don't give you answers to your questions. One thing with accepting does not necessarily have to come with apology, but you say, okay, I agree with you when somebody's saying something like, you don't answer my questions. Yes, I agree with you. Then it's left for you to offer an explanation or not. When you agree, the thing is, when you agree with somebody that at times perhaps, because there might be truth in what they're saying, you remove the sting, you remove the venom, because somebody is accusing you, and they have something in our local parlance here that says, I agree does not cause fight, does not lead to fight, or does not cause quarrel, does not, when you say those type of things, I agree with you, you can't quarrel with somebody that agrees with you. So when you tell someone, I agree with you, you are diffusing everything. I agree with you, but perhaps you now, if you choose to now say, this is the reason, I agree with you that I don't, but maybe this is the reason why. You realize that you have communicated. The person says, hey, he knows. He knows that he doesn't answer me. You've acknowledged it. You've given an explanation, and you guys will move on. And you see that there might not be enmity between two of you. Number 4 is negative inquiry. What do I mean by negative inquiry? You must seek out criticism about yourself with close relationships. Sometimes you need to prompt the expression of honesty, negative feelings to improve communication. You must be able to get feedback. I'm always asking my staff, people around me, What do you think about this? What do you think about this? We hold a program. I ask, what do you think? I ask my wife, what do you think about this? What do you think? I ask my children. I am used to asking people because I want to know. I want to understand. I'm not afraid of, I'm no longer, I used to be, there's most human beings you start from, we don't take criticism very well. But doing this for a long time, I've learned to take criticism. I even look forward to it. I don't feel offended, except if you're being rude and disrespectful, then that's the important thing of criticizing people, or when you're trying to, even if it's positive, you must pass it on in a way, in a sandwich method, in a way the person will be able to accept it without you hurting their feeling. If I failed in something, you talk about the failure in that. You talk about the failure in that thing. I am not a failure in life, but I failed in a particular aspect. But some people, they will come off, by the time they communicate, it's like they're telling you you're a failure. Not that you failed in a particular thing, but you are a failure. That's how it sounded. So you must, when you are offering criticism, you must be doing it in such a way that the person, you're not disrespecting the person. Because then, and most of us as leaders, you must develop thick skin with about criticism. It's good for you. Certain aspect of it is good for you. Let me give you an example. So you think that, or you believe that I'm not interested. Maybe your spouse, your staff, or people have been telling you something, and you are not responding, maybe because you are thinking about it. And you can start that inquiry by yourself by asking, so do you think that I don't believe you? What you have opened the door for explanation. You have opened the door for that accusation and probably criticism. When you do that, that means you're ready to listen to whatever they are saying, and then you can make your own remarks concerning it. Try as much as possible to seek for, to make that inquiry, to ask people for that negative, for their comment, for that feedback, be it negative or not. Another technique is negative assertion. What do I mean by this? It lets you look at more comfortably at negatives in your own behavior and personality without feeling defensive or anxious. This also reduces your critics' hostility. You should accept your errors and faults and not apologize or be apologetic about it. See, you should learn to laugh at your own mistakes. You should learn to laugh at your own mistakes. Learn to listen to the errors, to get the to accept the errors when people make some certain assertions about you. Example: yes, you are right. I don't listen closely to what you have to say. Once you accept it, then you can begin to make amends. Accept those errors. You have to be able to accept those errors so that you'll be able to move forward. Okay, lastly, let me talk about workable compromise. I talked a bit about it. When you feel that your self-respect is not in question, consider a workable compromise with the other person. When the person needs your attention, but is not coming off as if they have a right to it, then the person is showing you respect. In that way, what it means that you also have to compromise and show them respect and come to some form of compromise with that person, as in showing them also respect. You can always bargain your material goals unless the compromise affects your personal feelings or self-respect. However, if the end goal involves a matter of self-worth and self-respect, then there should be no compromise in whatever way. When it's a matter of your self-worth, your honor, and your self-respect, there can be no compromise. Let me give you an example. I understand that you have a need to talk, but I need to finish what I'm doing So can we meet in an hour's time? When you show me respect that of my time, even if you're my boss, or even whatever, you're my friend, you're my close friend, you're my spouse, whatever it is, when you show respect that I'm doing something, you see that I'm doing something, you show respect that I'm doing something, and because you have respected me in that manner, I will also reciprocate by respecting, to come to a compromise that can we do it in half an hour's time, when I feel that I would have done the bulk of the work before me, or I would have finished what I'm doing. So in that case, it's easier for you to assert yourself and come to a workable compromise. All right. So with this, I come to the conclusion of what I'm saying here today. But you need to realize, before we go, you need to realize that assertiveness in communication is all about assertiveness, is all about communication. We should watch how we speak. If you watch world leaders, when they speak, they're very slow in their speech. Everything is calculated. If you watch diplomats, they are very skilled in not being able to divulge too much information. They are skilled in giving you what you need. We need to be tactful in our speech. It will help us to acquire a lot and to be able to assert ourselves without coming off as if we're an aggressor or we're aggressive. So these are the skills that a leader must and should have. You know, it will help you in life, not just in leadership. It will help you wherever you go. I've gone to buy something before at a supermarket, and I asked them, come, I think that you guys, this price is more. Don't you think that I can get? They say, oh, the price is there, and that is what they are selling. But I say, look, I can get this elsewhere for so and so amount. And luckily, the manager was there, and I was now in a polite way. I was just telling him about this shop has it, this shop has it, and I think that the price has come down. Blah blah blah. We just talked, cracking jokes and all that. I was criticizing them, but with jokes, and I was telling them that they need to do this, bring down their price, that I feel that they are expensive. And guess what? The guy said, let's give him a discount. So when you come off with saying hard stuff, but you say it in a polite way, people will listen to you. And you know what? They will respect you afterwards for having the boldness to talk, but saying it in a manner that is acceptable to all. Okay, let me conclude by saying this. There's a this guy, W.W. Ziegler, he said something, quotation, nothing on earth, this is his quotation, nothing on earth can stop the individual with the right mental attitude from achieving their goal. Nothing on earth can help the individual with the wrong mental attitude. Let me say it again in conclusion. Nothing on earth can stop the individual with the right mental attitude from achieving their goal. Nothing. Likewise, nothing on earth can help an individual with the wrong mental attitude. So it is all about your mental status when you are communicating with people. And that is what assertiveness in communication can help you. You assert yourself with the right mental attitude. You know what? You can achieve every single thing you want. When you then now in business, when you match consumer psychology with effective communication style that we have taught here today, you get a powerful combination. You get what you want. Life is about getting what you want. Ladies and gentlemen, today I end with this. Life is about getting what you want. And getting what you want is about being an effective communicator. Being able to assert yourself as a communicator. You know what? You will get almost all that you set out to do. Okay, thank you for listening to me today. This is what I want to share with you guys. I'm still on this leadership series, If you have questions, please let us interact. If you have questions on Wednesday by 4 p.m. Nigerian time, I'm live speaking on questions. I don't have any specific topic. People ask me questions in these 5 areas: in leadership, career, business, personal finance, and relationships. So in these 5 areas, people ask me questions. You can also ask me. And if there's something in this presentation that you want to ask me, please, you can ask me on Wednesday by 4 p.m. Nigerian time. Also, if you want me to mentor you by the things I do, you can join a group. A closed group I have. There, the benefits of joining the closed group is that you can reach out to me and I can reach out to you directly. And you can ask me questions either on the platform or you can ask me directly on the platform. So, but you need to register that. So if you want to register, those of you on Instagram, on Facebook, you can see the link is there, linktree/Uche Onoche is spelled LINKTR.EE/Uche Onoche. It is out there in case you want me to mentor you directly on these things. So you have 2 options. Ask me on Wednesday. I will answer you live. I come live to answer you. And also, if you want to join this group, please, you can join them. Guys, thank you for tuning in with me today, this evening. It's a delight sharing it, having you here today. Those of you that are live here today, thank you. Wednesday, I said 4 o'clock, I'm back up. On Monday, next Monday, I'm doing something else on leadership. It promises to be an excellent time. So now I wish you a good night rest, good evening, and have a good night rest. God bless you guys. See you on Wednesday.
This is always the second.
What's always the same?